Good morning, YouTubers. May the good Lord bless you. Guys, in this video, we're going to discuss how do you know when your piece of metal comes up to the welding heat. I've got several videos about this, and you will hear me say and other people say that when your two pieces stick together in the fire, that you're at the welding heat, and that's true. But I don't think anybody's ever showed that on video. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. Another thing we're going to take a look at is how hard, depending on the project, you hit it when you first bring it out of your fire. Okay, so I've got two little old pieces of stuff right here, you guys. This stuff is about, it's not quite a quarter of an inch thick. It's 3/4 of an inch wide. What we're going to do is we're going to bring this up to the welding heat. I'm going to try, without burning my camera lens, okay, you guys, I'm going to try to show you that in the fire and put these two pieces of metal in the fire and let you see them stick, okay? That's the whole point of this exercise, knowing when it's at the welding heat. I'm also going to show you when it's burning, okay? And you see me bringing stuff out of the fire all the time that's really sparkling, and that means the piece is burning and is actually too hot, all right? So I'm going to move you in here close as I possibly can with the camera, and then I'm going to show you how to tell when these two pieces of metal come up to the welding heat. Now, you know, back in the old days, I read in Alex W. Beeler's book, I've done showed you this, I don't know how many times. Take a coat hanger, flatten that coat hanger out, okay, on the end, make it thin. All right, you're watching your pieces in the fire. Periodically, you stick your coat hanger on the pieces you're welding, trying to weld, okay? When your coat hanger sticks to it, and you got to pull it off of there and it moves it, then you know you're at the welding heat. This works pretty good, except for when you're using thicker stuff. Thicker stuff is not at the welding heat all the way through the center of the piece or the thickness of the piece. So for thin stuff, that works really good. All right, let's talk about this beforehand, you guys. Come out of the fire, you're at the welding heat, right? You bring your project over there and you just slam that sucker with a hammer. Well, that's what I used to do, thinking, man, that'll make it get closer together and stick really good. It's like taking peanut butter and putting it in a sandwich, and then taking that peanut butter sandwich and stomping it. When you do that, you blow the peanut butter out the sides, okay? In other words, your liquid metal is going to blow out the sides. In other words, you're going to blow the weld out by hitting it too hard. So you come out of the fire, put the project, depending on the thickness of it, and you just tap it. You stick it right there. It's stuck, okay? Then the stuff is not going to blow again. All right, next you go through there, you go through the same process 2 or 3 times until you get it stuck together the way you want it. Just because you bring it out of the fire and it's stuck together don't mean it'll stay stuck together. I've said this several different times, but anyway, let's get you over here in the fire, guys, or so that you can see in the fire. See how shiny and clean that is? Down here you got meal scale on that piece of metal, okay? You got to take that meal scale off that metal. That's the black stuff. That's how it comes right from the mill, so you got to grind that off. First thing we'll do is we'll put them in the fire and we will heat them up until we can put a little bit of flux on them. I'm a fluxer, you guys. They're laying right there on top of the fire, and they'll just come up to the heat. I will flux them, then I'll put them back in there, and then I'll bring you right back. All right, you guys, we've got a piece of metal here that's already sparkling. You can see it. You reach over there on your smaller piece, and you move it around. Now that smaller piece is getting too hot. See how they stuck together in the fire? That ain't coming loose. That's how you know you're at the welding heat, okay? That way you don't go beyond. Let me find my brush here somewhere, guys. It doesn't take very, very long for that to happen, okay? You can see those pieces are stuck together. Right there, coming right out of the fire. Now what I'm going to do is take you back over here to the anvil. Well, let's do something else while we're doing that, okay? Let's put this back into the heat. Right there. You notice I got a really good, clean fire. This is anthracite, guys. I hate it. It doesn't get as white as I want it to, okay? I'm gonna keep you alive right here, you guys. This is why that is so critical. I'm gonna take this little piece of wire right here. You can see those two pieces are still stuck together in the fire. And I've got them up at the top so that you guys can see what's going on, okay? So right back there on the end, that should be getting near the welding heat again. But it's not quite yet. A little bit deeper. See, it's getting a little cool when it's uncovered there, guys. I've never tried this before to show people this. Oops, a daisy. Not deep enough in that fire, you guys. I'll have to put it out of your sight, I guess. Alright, right there it is. See how it's sticking to that piece of metal and I can move it? Now you know at that point right there, it's at the welding heat. It's sticking to it. I was hoping it would pick it up, guys, but we're right at the top of the fire doing that right there. And it's oxidized really bad now. But you get the point. That's when you know it's at the welding heat. Now what we're going to do, you all, you can see I've shined that back up. I shined this piece back up. Get a hold of that little fella. We'll put them back in the fire, and we'll bring them out of the fire, guys, and we will weld them here on the anvil. Now, do you see what I just did? For you beginners, I laid them two pieces together in that fire just the way I want them to, almost exactly the way that I want them to be. Let's reflux them. Now what I just showed you there is a trick that an old blacksmith showed me, you guys. Smiths, some of them would actually wire them pieces together where they wanted them and stick them both in the fire right where they want them to be, instead of bringing them out and trying to get the two pieces together and banging it on the anvil and hoping it stuck. What they did was, and I didn't wire these together, I just laid them in the fire, and then when I brought them out, when they come to the heat, I lifted them straight up out of the coals and brought them over and hit them, okay? But you can wire them together. Other smiths used to rivet that piece together with a small rivet to where it wouldn't move, okay? That's what they did, and these are some of the tricks that blacksmiths don't tell you on YouTube. But that's some of the things that the old timers used to do. In a minute, I'm gonna bring this back out of the fire, and it'll be, as a matter of fact, it's almost at the welding heat right now. One more flux. Remember, you guys, let your flux melt before you stick it back in the fire, okay? Now, yesterday's video, you guys, when I made these tongs right here, a gentleman commented that I didn't do any close-ups of it, that he could really see how they're made. Through circles, bend them. I mean, that's not really that complicated, but he said he couldn't see it, so I hope that's close enough for you right there. By the way, you guys, you can actually make these straight and weld you two circles on there if you want to. But this is an easier way of doing it right here. All right. So we're back here at the welding heat again. Do not beat the crap, you guys, out of a weld until that thing is stuck good. Let's flux that one more time. Let's do it. I'm going to show you something else too while we're at it. All right, you all, we're at the welding heat. I'm going to let it go too far beyond the welding heat, and you're going to see what that looks like. See the sparks? You all try to work your project that you've welded. Every time you're working that particular area, try to bring it up close to the welding heat when you're working on it, okay? Because right here at the back end of this, I see a little crack, okay? Up to front, we're good. At the back, we got a little crack in it, so I'm going to try to fix that, okay? We should be up there in about 30 seconds. I'm gonna let it go just about 30 seconds more. Now we're beyond the welding heat. Here we come out of the fire. When you're making tomahawks and things like that, that's going to happen to you. This area back here was not welded. The rest of it was. And when you start to work it in this direction, guys, then that's when you're going to tell. So the way to repair that is just go ahead and reflux it and go back to the weld and heat. Now we're going to do one more thing that I'm going to show you all in this video, okay? We're going to take this, put it back in the fire, get it real good and hot, and we're going to come back here to the anvil and we're going to slam hit it, okay? Now you all, as your experience goes and you become, you know, proficient at getting your stuff to stick together, I can weld, guys, in a 2-inch deep fire. Beginners should start up there about 6 and 8 inches at the top of the fire, but inside the fire, okay? In other words, your metal's not exposed on top, it's in the fire at the top, but covered up with red hot coals, okay? So what we're going to do right here, guys, is we're coming out of here, we're going to take us a big hammer. Like we're making a knife. We're going to hammer this joint. We're going to hammer it again, okay? Let me put that thing right back in the fire. If that weld is good, that thing will be sandwiched together till there's no way that you can tear it apart. See what that looks like? Now you all, I guess the good things about using a gas forge, which I've never used, is in the gas forge you ain't got to put your pieces of metal and cram them around chunks of coal. Okay, you ain't got a bunch of junk in your way so that you can't see what's happening to them 2 pieces of metal. In your gas forge, people who weld with it says that you can't go no further than the welding heat. So you stick them things together in there. When they're stuck, you bring them out and you tap them with your hammer and you seal them up, okay? That's what you do. Forge welding. bringing the two pieces to the right temperature so that you can coax them to go together and stay that way. Now I'm going to take the grinder, you guys, over here, and I'm going to grind this off into a knife shape, and I'm going to show you that, okay? So let me cut you off here for just. Now your two pieces have become one. I'm going to show you one more test I'm going to do on this, you guys. They are joined together and there is no crack, meaning the molecules of the steel are both the same, and both those molecules just married one another. Let's take you out here into the light, you guys. If that wasn't welded, guys, you would see separation, okay? See where that is bent? If that was not welded, that would pull apart. Now let's go just a little bit further than that here on video. She is not separating because she's one piece of metal, you guys. All right, you all, I hope that's a better explanation, okay? In the beginning, when you start blacksmithing, this is going to be your struggle right here. If you can shape metal and you're pretty artistic, then you'll be a good blacksmith. If you can't weld, you really can't progress on to where you need to be, okay? So what I do is when I'm doing a project here in the shop, I will grab two pieces of metal up and I will weld them together. Just tinkering around, seeing, you know, where I'm making mistakes and all kind, because everybody makes mistakes. There ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There's things that I've tried to weld up, guys, that never stuck, period. I never did figure out why neither, okay? I don't know what I've done wrong, but everybody, I don't care how long you've been blacksmithing, you will try to stick stuff together that will not stick. And I don't know if it's the two pieces of metal or whatever, because when you got them way beyond the burning point and they still don't stick when you tap them, then you're doing something wrong, or the metal's just not going to join. But I hope that explains this a whole lot better than some other videos that I've done. But that's you all. Have yourself a wonderful weekend. Catch me on Sunday morning at 10 a.m. when I'm preaching the gospel of Jesus Christ.